Hi everyone, Mitch from PickDogs.com, and it is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. Man, this week is flying. Here with your free picks. Of course, we are live every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we got the premium area opening tonight, starting with tomorrow's games. I was going to do it today for today's games, opening day for NBA, but nah. But we will definitely have it roll. We'll definitely have it rolling though tonight for tomorrow. I know a lot of people have been waiting for it. Tried to put up some introductory pricing on there as well for yearly and monthly packages. The cool thing about the premium, and I understand that a lot of people, they don't want to pay for picks, and I get it. It's fine. That's why we have free picks as well, and that's why I do the live show, and that's why we're gonna have plenty of free picks, plenty. And even though on some games you're not gonna get my free picks, we'll have other people on the show and you can get their free picks. So it's like, say we say Lakers versus Mavericks or something, right? And someone says, I want to pick on Lakers versus Mavericks. I'll give my pick on the total and the other person can give their side, something like that. We'll figure it out. But, but my best bets, everyone always asks where my best bets are, and they're going to be in the premium area starting tomorrow. I tried to put in some early pricing on there, like I said, and where I was getting into before I kind of got sidetracked. To me, it's always a weird thing, But the thing about the premium, we're offering daily packages. It's something that I've never done in the past, as far as the premium area goes. But the cool thing about this daily is that it's 24 hours. So if you say you buy your package at like 2 in the afternoon, I usually put the picks in the night before. So if you bought it at 2 in the afternoon, you would get one day, and then you would also get the next day. So it's great for like Saturdays. It's basically, you almost get 2 days worth of picks for one day. It's always like 2 for 1 on that. So, in a week is, 7 times 24 hours. A month is 30 times 24 hours. But the daily is the one where you get basically 2 days for the price of 1, depending on the time. Anyways, of course, on this show we do free picks, and we'll be back at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with our college football show with Steve Monahan. It's a big night in the NBA. Hopefully you guys checked out the YouTube channel. I did a ton of videos there. Did 4 NBA videos on YouTube as well. Morning, Larry. Over under. We're gonna just give everybody a second to join us. Hopefully those YouTube notifications have been. That'd be awesome. I think I want everybody to be a brand ambassador for Pick Dogs. I want everybody to be. I want to have a product, and a website and a community. And I mean, I use the word community a lot, and family with us. And that is what I'm trying to get. I know not everybody buys into that, and I understand. Some people, they just want the picks, boom, they're going off to the next guy. They're going over to SBR, they're going over, listen to Craig's crap, right, or whatever. I understand that. It's all part of it. But, generally what I'm trying to do here is have a community. And it's like, I don't just have a Facebook group where I go in there and I post some article that you could have read at our website, or I don't just, post like a one-word response to you guys. I'm part of the daily conversation in our Facebook group. I'm on here. I don't just sit here and talk at you guys. I answer I put every question up on the board that I can. If you're watching us in the Facebook group, though, I can't put your questions up on the board. So if you can watch us on YouTube or our Facebook page, that's awesome. Actually, I see Larry's comments in our Facebook group on here, so maybe it works now. Hey, Joe. Celtics 76ers over under 212.5. It's a tough one. Oh, man, that is a tough one right out of the gate. I gave a pick on the side. I did a video on this game, so you can check it out over at our YouTube channel. But as far as the game goes, man, it's early season. We saw last night the first game went over, but it went to overtime. The second game went under. Brad Stevens, kind of defensive. The 76ers, let's see, Ben Simmons, he can't shoot. And you have Horford can score like no one's business, right? Get him the ball. Kemba Walker for Celtics. Gordon Hayward. Man, that's gonna be a tough one. Let's start it right off with the coin flip. Heads for over, tails for under. You guys know NBA totals, man. If you can get dialed in on those, easiest way to make money. I like the under in the Celtics. Under Celtics Sixers. Yeah, that's impossible. We went 1-1 in our total picks yesterday because the one game went to overtime. And I felt pretty good about that. We hit both the games, though. I mean, we haven't even give out picks yet. This is how you ask for picks, just like this. Mavericks -8 versus the Wizards. I thought this was an interesting one. I think the expectations for the Mavericks are a little bit higher than they've been in recent years. Meanwhile, the Wizards, Bradley Beal's team now, I would say. And I think that this is a team to watch out for. Last season they were one of the bigger disappointments in the NBA, so we're probably getting good value on them. I'm going to take the Wizards plus the 8. I mean, every NBA pick today, it's got to be a lean. This is why I didn't want to open the premium area today, because I didn't want to give out these NBA picks, because I've had NBA seasons where the first game of the season, I've lost almost every single game. Kind of like Chris's first show here, where he lost all the hockey games. And then, he came back yesterday and was pretty strong with his picks. So I was glad he had a chance for some retribution. Of course, we're going to have him back. There's only 2 NHL games on the schedule, so I figured I would pretty much handle the show for NBA opener. And we're going to have Steve Monahan with us at 4 p.m. Eastern doing college football. Still kicking around. Exactly what time we're going to be doing that show. I think I would like to move it. The whole idea was just to go up against Craig, but I mean, he's really good at, beating himself. So I don't really need to beat on him anymore with our live show. Do you dabble in NBA parlays? No, not all of a sudden out of the blue do I like parlays. That's basically what that question is. Mitch is like, I've been anti-parlay for, forever, right? And then all of a sudden, do you do NBA parlays? It's like, yeah, what I'll do is I'll take the hardest sport there is to bet, right? The absolute hardest one, NBA, right, is the hardest sport. The 2 hardest sports, right? NBA and college basketball. Indisputably the hardest sports, because that last second, where either they dribble out or the guy throws it up, it always factors in the line, right? It always seems to factor. And, it makes these games they're so hard. I know more people, I've been betting a long time, and I know a lot of people that bet. I know more people that have quit betting because of college basketball specifically than any other sport. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Any support you guys can give is greatly appreciated. If you can't afford premium and it's not something that's for you, I understand that as well. A thumbs up, a share, a like, just being part of our community and leaving a comment, subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitter. That stuff it goes far too. Morning, Chris. And the other Chris, he got the YouTube notification, and his best bets were 2-1 on the NHL yesterday. I know that much. Oh, this is all the videos I did yesterday. I mean, look how many. This is all the videos I did this week. I'm doing more videos. If you guys aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I do more videos now than I've ever done before. And I was the first guy to do video in sports handicapping. I was the first one to do videos. Jim Feist had a show a long time ago that used to be on TV, but I was the first YouTube guy that ever did it. Everybody else has copied me since, and I still don't think they do it as good as I do. I think that they're more too formal for me. I'm still going to be me. I can't help it. I've tried the formal thing. Morning, June. Astros Nationals under 7.5. I like the under tonight. Under in the World Series, I'm just going to call it on my pad. The reason why I like it is because we saw a lot of offense last night. I just broke my pen. That was weird. This is what happened. I'm writing, and the top of the pen came off. Got other pens, thankfully. That was weird, man. But anyways, I think last night we saw some good hitting, and I think that tonight we're going to see some good hitting too. But I honestly believe that these starters are going to last a little bit longer. Jared Cole lasted a long time last night, but man, like I've said about him in the past, he has a tendency to have a bad inning. And he had one last night. He hasn't had a lot of those this year, but he had one last night. It cost him the game. And, how about the Nationals, man? This team just sheds it right off. They were down 2-0 in the first inning, and the crowd was into it. And Max Scherzer, I can't wait to ask Steve Monahan while we're waiting everyone to join us this afternoon what he thought of Max Scherzer's effort last night. I thought, to me, while he only went 5 innings, I thought it was one of the more epic performances by a starting pitcher. Even though he gave up the 2 runs in the first inning, he gave up what about the guts of this guy, right? He gives up 2 runs, okay? The crowd's going crazy. They got him on the rocks, and he's throwing as hard as he possibly can. Every single pitch, he's grunting. Just every muscle in his body is going into every pitch, and he just keeps the Astros from scoring another run. He ends up going from a loser at losing 2-0 in the first inning. He ends up going to the winner as the winner of Game 1, and a guy who's a first ballot Hall of Famer, 2-time Cy Young Award winner in the American League and the National League, gets his first World Series win, and he does it with pure guts. He's walking guys. They're not swinging at his pitchers in the dirt. He's challenging them inside the strike zone. I know a lot of people, they like the offensive stats and the guys hitting the home runs and all that stuff. I'm always a defensive guy. And I thought that Max Scherzer's performance last night was as good as any. And I think when you rate the greatest pitchers I've ever seen live or, have been able to watch on TV, Max Scherzer's performance last night ranks right up there with like Roy Halladay's no-hitter in Miami in the postseason and, just a bunch of other ones, right? It's just right up there, with just epic postseason pitching performances. Josh Beckett, when he took down the Yankees, that was guts. Morning. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. I looked at this game too last night. I was going to do a video on it, but I thought it was just a little bit too difficult for me. We'll look at this one real quickly. The Knicks playing the Spurs. The Spurs kind of caved last year, right? At the end of the season, they kind of just didn't have it in the tank. And early in the season like this, I like to look at the rosters and the depth charts. It's something that I really look at a lot. So when we look at the Spurs, it's just important to remind everybody who's exactly playing, who's on the team, and who's injured, and all that kind of stuff. So the Spurs have Murray, Forbes, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Paul and Rudy Gay is on this team. He's coming off the bench though. Patty Mills, Trey Lyles, they just don't seem to have what they've had in the past. And when we look at the Knicks, this team has been a dumpster fire right for so long. They didn't get Kyrie Irving in the offseason. They didn't get the guys that they had hoped to get in free agency, but they have the guys that they got in, at the end of last season, and you throw in Kevin Knox, Bobby Portis. This is not a bad team. Taj Gibson is day to day. So is Robinson, Kadeem Allen. I think you take the 10 points with the Knicks here. I think that's probably where the value is. We'll take the Knicks plus the 10. I don't love this game, that's for sure. Yep, Kemba owns the Sixers. Yep. Kemba absolutely owns him. I have no idea what that means. It's got to be Team A versus Team B with the point spread. I don't know. I stopped keeping. This game is tomorrow. Did it? I don't know. I thought Chris redeemed himself. We just did this one. Kings versus the Suns. This is a weird one to me, right? This is one I looked at as well. The Kings, 67% of the public on the Kings. They had that big record last year. Meanwhile, the Suns, plus 1.5 in this game, and the line is stuck there with only 33% of the public on them. You know, I see people get killed at the beginning of NBA season every single year. And it's games like this that look so obvious, right? You look at this one, and you would never think that the Suns would be there. But let's look at the Suns team, right? When Booker's been healthy, this team wins. DeAndre Ayton, Saric, Oubre is on this team now, you know, over from Washington, Ricky Rubio. This is a nice team. Mikal Bridges. I like what's going on in Phoenix. I do like it. And I think when we look at the other side here for the Kings, and, you know, I like, just, obviously I didn't know what questions are coming up, so I have to find these things as we go, which is what I signed up for. But when we look at the Kings depth chart, Fox, awesome, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Dwayne Dedmon. But do these guys really have it, you know, with Ariza, Yogi Ferrell? Did these guys really have it over the Suns? Why is the line only 1.5? It doesn't even make sense to me. With 33% of the people on the Suns, a team that was miserable, right? They've been miserable. When they have the injuries, they never respond. I don't know, man. I'm taking the Suns. It just seems. I like, you guys know me. I like dogs, and seems like a good spot. I almost made the Suns the dog of the day, to be honest. I don't know what that means. Team A versus Team B with a point spread. Yeah, we'll call Craig Voldemort from now on. That's funny. NBA and Sixers. I did a video on this one. This is a lot of information. Team A versus Team B with the point spread. We just don't have time for something like that. I appreciate it, though. I shared your new channel. Hopefully you pass it. Awesome. That's how it gets done. Chicago Bulls -3 versus the Hornets. I looked at this game too. Like I said, I'm really kind of on the fence on these games. This game moved from the Hornets -1 to the Hornets +3. So this line has inverted. Of course, Terry Rozier moving to the Hornets from the Celtics. That's the big one. Dwayne Bacon, he's the guy from Florida State. Miles Bridges, of course, remember him. And P.J. Washington and Cody Zeller on this team with Batum, Malik Monk, Devontae Graham. Pretty nice names here on the Hornets side. When we look at the Heat, though, when we look at the Bulls, last year we saw this team start to really play together and to come together. And what we're seeing in Chicago is kind of like they're willing to cut bait with guys that aren't willing to help. And, you know, Wendell Carter's day to day, but, you know, Markkanen just an absolute gem of a draft pick, right? And Otto Porter Jr., you know, Zach LaVine. This is a team that's kind of coming along. Chris Dunn is on this team. These guys can play. This is going to be a pretty good game as well. I'm going to have to go with the Bulls -3 in this one. I like the line movement. Let's see what percent of the public is on it. Yeah, 48% of the public on the Bulls, and the line goes from +1 to -3. I hate when people say, I know you picked this. Yeah, I'm going to give this out as a premium pick tomorrow. That'll be in the premium area on our first day of Sports Shop Plays Premium. Would have been 3-0 in my NHL. Yeah, would have been, could have been. Not always. That's for sure. Yep. I was the first to do a lot of things. I'm an innovator. I'm always taking it to the next level. And then what I do, people a couple years later, they start to copy it. Video. I was the first one to do a podcast. I mean, there's some guys out there just starting their podcast now. It's like we're already into live shows. We don't do the podcast because we do the live shows. Doesn't, you could always, I guess we could move it. We could have this on the podcast as well. Max Scherzer is a beast, man. You could hear every grunt in that game. You got to say Team A versus Team B with the point spread, just like this. Or else I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, we don't talk about, it's like, Scherzer's grinding out. Good morning. We just did this one. I did a video on this one, so you could check it out on our YouTube channel. There's a video, Heat versus Grizzlies, it's called. You're on YouTube now. You can check it out there. Review. Chris was 2-1 in the best bets. It's like, that's what I always say to everyone. I get this question all the time. I get this question all the time, and it's, what's the difference between your free picks and your premium picks? And it's like, when I do free picks, you guys are asking questions. I'm just giving you the answer of who I like. But, it's rare that I say on here, and it happens, I love this one. And when I say I love it, and then I say these are the ones I like the best, right? And now I put the ones I like the best in the premium area. But, the difference is a free pick on every game and leans and all this other stuff, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm running out to bet this, and I'm not encouraging you to bet. I'm just saying this is my opinion. One's an opinion, and one is more like, this is what I really like. Oklahoma City is +9 here against the Jazz. And, the Jazz have been a team that that 2 years ago, they were the only ones that gave the Warriors trouble in the playoffs. Last year, they kind of were not nearly as good, I didn't think. But this year, I believe that the Jazz will be a lot better. Let's just take a quick look at what they're working with this season. Donovan Mitchell is on this team. And Mike Conley comes over from Memphis. Donovan Mitchell, of course. So nice guard tandem. Bogdanovich, Gobert, and Royce O'Neal. So really, really nice starting five there for the Jazz. And it's really going to come down to the depth chart. When we look at OKC, the first thing that everyone's going to say is, Russell Westbrook is gone, right? And he's kind of has been the franchise for them for quite some time. But I think that the deal with Westbrook is a lot of people think that teams are better without a guy like that because he doesn't really have a position. I mean, and that's the real tough part about Russell Westbrook. What exactly position does he play? He's the guy that just takes all the shots, right? And that gets everybody mad at him. It's kind of his position on the team. And it's not necessarily good for a team sport. You got to have, team players. So Chris Paul, Robertson, Gallinari, Steven Adams. This is still a pretty good team. And 9 points is a ton. I'm going to take OKC plus the 9. This is another one where I'm sure, I didn't even look at it, but I'm sure the public is way against OKC in this one. Right? All they see is Russell Westbrook is gone. It's like, yeah, 37% of the public, the game's gone from 10.5 to 9. It's like, it's predictable, right? I mean, I didn't even look at it, and you could tell that which side the public's going to be on because that exact angle, that exact angle. Yeah, the premium should be up tonight for tomorrow. So like I said, if you buy a 1-day premium, which is something that we're just offering for the first time, you basically get 2 days worth because you get 24 hours. So if you buy it like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll get that day's picks, and then you'll have access until 3 o'clock the next afternoon. I'll already have the next day's picks in there. So you'll get basically 2 days for the price of one. But the monthly is always the best deal, and the yearly is always the best deal, and then the monthly, then it's the way it is. This year, I mean, these are always the comments that make no sense to me. I mean, I don't even understand what you're talking about. They haven't even played yet. This is the first game of the season. I don't know who Tom Fry is. This game is tomorrow, and it's going to be in the premium area. If you ask me one more time, I'm just not sure how many more times I can say it. The game is tomorrow. We go over today's games here. David, I did a video on this one, and it's on the YouTube channel. You check it out there. I went over the whole game. Pacers minus 7.5 versus the Pistons. I like the Pistons in this one plus the 7.5. I know the line has really jumped in this game from 3.5 to 7.5, and 70% of the money here is on the Pacers. Just big injuries here. Most notably, of course, Blake Griffin for the Pistons and Oladipo out for the Pacers. So I don't know. I just like taking the points. I'll take the Pistons plus the 7.5. This is just a lean at best. It's just I'm taking the points because they're there. Yeah, Team A versus Team B with the point spread or total. So everybody knows what you're talking about. Oh. That was pretty cold. Pretty cold. Cleveland at Orlando minus 8.5. This is another tough one. If you got to bet Cleveland versus Orlando, you might have bigger issues. Of course, the Cavs were terrible last season. Really one of the worst teams in the NBA. The post-LeBron era. We see this all the time. You look at the depth chart. Brandon Knight, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson. Just a lot of big contracts left over. And, of course, Colin Sexton there, Larry Nance Jr. A lot of contracts and a lot of guys that were traded, kind of for guys that needed to be traded type deal. Far cry from LeBron James and Kyrie Irving that they had just a few years ago. When we look at the Magic, and of course, it's the first game of the season, so we just don't have a lot to go off of here. So that's why we're looking at the rosters as we go through this. Augustin Fournier, Aaron Gordon, Michael Carter-Williams. That's always a good chance to go the other way. Mo Bamba, who I ran into the Vegas airport about a year ago. I'm going to take the Cavs here plus the 8.5. I like a lot of the dogs. I think that, we saw it even in the first game yesterday that went to overtime. The dogs didn't cover. Yep, you said that. Nice. No, we only have 2 hockey games, and I knew we'd have a ton of NBA. I don't want to be on forever. We're almost on for a half hour already. Yeah, that's going to about cover it all, though. So let me just recap today's picks. Of course, starting tomorrow, my best bets are going to be in the premium area. We're still going to have tons of free picks. We're still going to have guests. We're going to have all that stuff. We did the show for years while I had a premium area before. I'm sure we can still have a great show with it. We'll see how it plays out, right? If it's too much in the way, then I'll get somebody else to give their picks with my picks or something. We never cut you guys short. It's never about the money for me, but I gotta pay the bills around here. It's like they are adding up, and we don't make any money at all. We tossed the coin. We took the under in the Celtics 76ers. I like the Wizards plus 8. The under in the World Series game took the Knicks plus 10. The Suns plus 1.5. I think that's the ticket on that one. The Bulls minus 3. OKC minus 9.5. The Pistons plus 7.5, and the Cavs plus 8.5. My voice probably did get excited there with the Suns. I have 4 NBA videos on YouTube that I did. It's something, I've been doing videos on YouTube of like tons of college football games, all the NFL games, and 4 NBA games, including the dog of the day pick, and which returns today, and we'll go all the way through, the All-Star break, and then, we're gonna just, start the dog of the day back up because now we have a full schedule of games to work with. But What was I saying? That doesn't really matter. Anyways, this is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Or I'll see you guys at 4 p.m. Eastern time for the college football show with Steve Monahan. Have a great day.